Good morning. My name is Michelle Hill. I'm the Community Outreach Supervisor for Greater Nevada Credit Union. The Greater Good campaign was created to showcase amazing individuals in our community that are helping more people live greater. Today, I have Shane Whitecloud. Shane was nominated by a community member and chosen by Greater Nevada to be one of our Greater Good recipients. Shane is a disabled veteran that started a 501(c) nonprofit 2 years ago that assists military veterans, first responders, and their children. He works with Veterans Affairs Sierra Nevada Healthcare System, which is a long word, by the way, during the day, and spends nights and weekends helping our nation's heroes with his nonprofit, Veteran Development Group Incorporated. Shane received the Veteran of the Month award last October from the Nevada Department of Veteran Services for his commitment to veterans. His nonprofit also works with Veterans Court and Washoe County Sheriff's Office to aid veterans who have slipped through the cracks and fallen on the wrong side of the law by assisting with costs associated with rehabilitation and substance testing. I'd like to introduce you to Shane.
Hey, you did your homework.
I did. I did. I was so impressed. I couldn't help myself. I probably could have made it even longer. You've done so much for the for the veterans that it's amazing.
Well, thank you. It's a blessing to be able to give back. For myself, I was one of those veterans who was desperately in need of help and resources, and there was nothing available at the time or anything that I was aware of. And I had fallen through the cracks. Just a kind of a brief summary on my story. I was in the Navy back in the 90s, and there was an accident on the ship, and we were coming back from Kuwait, and I was flown from my ship over to the carrier of the fleet, the Constellation, where the surgery was done. And as I was waking up from surgery, I was being sexually assaulted by the corpsman who was in charge of my care. I reported it, and in the 90s, it was a don't ask, don't tell. And for reporting it, I was actually punished. I was put on 45 days restrictive duty. I was reduced to rank, and then my pay was cut in half for 45 days as well. And then at the end of that, I was asked if I would like to leave the military. And of course, at that time, I was a young, angry veteran, at the time, a young, angry kid, 19 years old at the time. And so I took him up on the offer to leave. Fell into drugs really hard. By the time I was 21, I had tried to complete suicide twice, and I was just lost. I ended up behind bars, got in trouble with the law for drugs, and there was nothing there. There was no way for no one for me to reach out to. Even my own father had thought that, my whole family's career military, and he thought that I couldn't hack it. And I let him think that because the alternative was telling him what actually happened, and I couldn't face myself at the time. Much less his, judgment. I finally told him about 2 years ago what actually happened, and we had a very deep heart-to-heart, and it was a very emotional moment for both of us. But I realized that at that time, if there had been a system in place, then I would not have gone down the road I had gone down. I was homeless. I think I weighed 120 pounds. I've been clean off of drugs for almost 24 years now. And I decided to clean my life up and find another mission, which was to help other veterans. Ironically, I never thought I'd be working in a VA hospital because of everything that had happened to me. But as it is, that was the perfect platform for me to meet more veterans and to help more community. But my nonprofit started 2 years prior to me working at the VA hospital. I started my nonprofit as a final thesis whenever I decided to go back to college. So I went back to college, got my master's degree, my bachelor's degree, and then my master's degree. And for my master's degree, I created the nonprofit as a final thesis, and I just kept it going. It started with a program called Operation Employ to help veterans find employment, help them fill out their resumes, and just basically try to help them in any way possible. Men's Warehouse sponsored me and gave me a bunch of suits. So I started giving suits out to veterans who were looking for jobs, and then just started working on other programs. I sat in the judge's chambers for 2 days straight. She fed me lunch. I mean, to go from where I was to a judge feeding me lunch, that's a big change. and I helped write the grant out for the first Veterans Treatment Court here in Reno. And that was 2 years ago. We just celebrated our second graduation of 9 veterans graduating from the Veterans Treatment Court yesterday. And, you know, my nonprofit has been helping with the costs associated with the drug testing and childcare. A couple of times I've helped with childcare because they want to go to rehab. And, you know, they're single parents and they had to have some way to take care of their kids. And so, you know, my heart really bleeds for our veterans and for our children. And so I give where I can. And thankfully, the VA, you know, has allowed me to continue my participation with the court in a more official capacity on behalf of the VA, working with the court and working with our Veterans Justice Outreach team, which the VA provides as well. But my job actually for the court team is just to find volunteers, other veterans who are interested in walking alongside the veterans going through treatment court as mentors, or as I call them, battle buddies, because whenever I was going through my issues, having somebody to talk to and be there for me probably would have saved my life more than once. And for these veterans, they're going through some of the hardest struggle in their life. And we're talking about veterans who have gone to Kuwait and gone to Afghanistan and come back. They've faced battle, but they're coming back and they're facing their inner demons, which is scarier. And having somebody there going, I'm here with you, you know, that's a big deal. So any veterans who are interested in volunteering their time to walk alongside another veteran that's going through treatment court, by all means, I encourage you, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to pair you up with a veteran.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm a Navy brat, so, and then a whole family of military veterans. So it's nice to see that you're taking care of them, because, you know, I know that my brother had served, he went to 3 different tours, and I know he came back angry. So it took him, unfortunately, he ended up divorced, and I was a little worried that he was going to end up on a different path, but he persevered. I'm very proud of him. He persevered and then just tried to make his life the best he could and get past his anger that he had for, you know, just coming back to civilian life.
Right. Yeah, I can honestly say that whenever a veteran comes back from a situation like that, there's a fork in the road, and they can choose to continue down the easiest path and stay angry and fall into addictions or fall into alcoholism or whatever it may be to help crutch that. Or they can take the hardest path and fight their way uphill, looking for that mission. And once they find that mission, then they're good to go. But it's sometimes it takes a long time. It's not something that happens overnight. And I can honestly say that what has saved my life was finding that mission to help fellow veterans. I never thought I would ever be in a position where I could do that. And once I did, I embraced it wholeheartedly. And if I can be completely 100% honest with you, it's more addictive than any other addictive substance that I ever had, 27 years ago. It's more getting that reception and knowing that you got to help somebody get to that point, and it's not about self accolades. It's more along the lines of when they come up and give me a hug and say, thank you. That's what keeps me going for the next one, and I'll continue to do so. It's a pleasure to be a part of that. And, God has blessed me in so many ways to put me in a position to be able to help. And I just want to continue giving back.
That's awesome. So today Shane is going to be receiving $250 for his nonprofit Veteran Development Group. Can you tell us how anybody else can? Do you have a website? How can anybody get a hold of you so they can either volunteer or donate?
Yeah, of course. So we do have a website. It's opemploy.org, OPEMPLOY, operationemploy.org. They can go on there. There's ways to donate through that. In fact, on the front page, there's a donation button. They could also, let me think, there's our Facebook page is at VDG Inc., Veteran Development Group Incorporated. So VDG Inc., you can find that on Facebook as well. You can always find me on Facebook. I'm not hard to find. I think there's only one Whitecloud out there besides my wife, so pretty easy to find. Official Whitecloud is my public figure page. So definitely reach out to me there, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions, especially if you'd like to volunteer and be a mentor for another veteran, or assist with some of these programs. I am looking at trying to create a program that will help with childcare for veterans who are struggling, especially now with COVID being a thing. Childcare is really hard to pay for in certain situations like these. So creating a fund that will help them pay for it, they'll have to go through a selection process, of course, because I want to be fair. But so there's that program as well. But of course, the easiest way to donate is just to walk into your bank, walk into Greater Nevada Credit Union, because that's our bank. That's the bank that we bank at. So if you walk into a Greater Nevada Credit Union, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, if they say they want to make a donation to Veteran Development Group, you guys should be able to take care of it from there, yeah?
Yeah, we'll work out the logistics on that one for sure. Okay. But no, I want to thank you today for making a difference and helping more people live greater. Thank you, Shane.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this blessing.